And even if that means that, they've got to rebuild and it might take a couple of years to get the type of squad that we want, we know that the infrastructure is there to accommodate that. And also the finances are going to be well looked after as well. So welcome back to Small Elite Alliance FC. And I think it's fair to say, as Birmingham City supporters, that over the last 10 to 12 years, we've had some pretty rough times. The ownership hasn't been very good. They haven't invested in the club. On-pitch performances have not really given us anything to shout about. And in fact, we've been struggling down the bottom end of the Championship now for far too long. Then we fast forward to this summer, and finally we've got brand new owners who appear to have an amazing vision for our future. So at the time of recording this video, Birmingham City are currently struggling to stay in the EFL Championship. And our main focus as football fans is always going to be about what goes on the pitch. But I think it's also worth remembering that we have an amazing future ahead of us. And that's what we're going to discuss in this video, that even as low as we might feel at times with the on-pitch performances, there's so much to look forward to and be excited about the future. And we just want to emphasise what is about to happen at this club. So I'm going to just ping it straight over to Matt, really. And, Matt, we've got these brand new owners who have came in. What's your feelings about the future and about what they're going to do for us?
I mean, first of all, I think it's a really exciting time to be a Birmingham City supporter. And it's a funny time to record this video because as we currently record and sit opposite each other, I'm actually incredibly stressed, as I am most times this time of year as a Birmingham City supporter, because we do have the biggest fight of our lives at the time of recording when this goes out tomorrow against Norwich. And we get it, Blues fans. We know everything on the pitch for the past couple of years, especially the past 10 years, has been awful. We're used to this. We're used to this relegation battle. But the owners are going to change that, I think. I think they're here to invest. They have the good intentions of the club at heart. And, we could talk about that one decision that was made, earlier on in the season. This isn't about that. This isn't a negative video. It's not a bashing session. We're not going to reflect on that.
No.
It would be quite easy to talk about that and think about that. But this is all about the positivity. And with the game on Saturday, we just wanted to spread a little bit of light, spread a bit of positivity, and kind of get the Blues fans a little bit optimistic and positive about the future, regardless of the result on Saturday.
And that's exactly it, Matt. It's making the fans realise that regardless of what happens on Saturday, our future really starts from after that game, to be honest, for the reasons that we'll talk about in a moment. Yes. So what's your thoughts then on what's going to happen in the future then?
So for me, the thing I'm excited about the most in the short term is, again, regardless of division we're in next season, is that big red reset button is going to get pressed. And, we talk about lack of passion on the pitch. We talk about the frustration around our players at Birmingham City at the moment. And actually half of them are going to be gone. There's a lot out of contract. I believe a lot will be sold and a lot will be brought in as well. There's going to be big turnover at this club. But this is the first summer transfer window we're going to have under Knighthead. Yeah. And Wagner said in the open house that there's money to spend. So again, regardless of division, I'm excited for that button to be pressed and have that clear out and have a bit of a reset as a club.
And I think that's worth emphasising is that, when the owners came in, they came in at the end of July last year. And all the wonderful things that they've done around the club, the one thing they couldn't do anything about really was the squad, because they came in, they inherited all of the legacy of the FFP restrictions that the previous owners had put us under, and therefore they couldn't really do an awful lot. So this is going to be the first transfer window under Knighthead this summer. Mm-hmm. And also, as you mentioned, Gary Cook in the open house was talking about the way that they're working behind the scenes to increase revenue, and that will allow us to spend some money probably for the first time in years on players. So I think it's going to be really exciting. It's much needed though, Matt, because, you Blues fans know, you've watched our previous podcasts about how frustrated we've been, and I'm sure that you've been as well, in relation to some of the performances off the pitch. A lot of these players, as you mentioned, are going to be gone. So it's going to be a really exciting time over the summer to see who's going to be coming in.
A key point you just referenced for me, which is also why I'm excited about the future of this club, is revenue. And I had no idea until the open house that Birmingham City were the highest grossing Championship team outside of the teams which receive parachute payments. I was staggered to hear that. And that clearly shows how financially savvy our new owners are, how clued up they are about business, how they know how to make money, they know how to bring in revenue. And he's openly said, season tickets aren't going to get raised. Well, if they do, it will be progressively and sustainable. They're not going to outprice the die-hard fans. We were hearing all the right things at the open house. But the fact that we were the highest grossing revenue outside the parachute payments really struck me. I mean, did it strike you that we were that?
I had no idea. What it emphasised to me, Matt, was the amount of hard work that's been done behind the scenes that we know nothing about. Because as football fans, our only focus really is going to be on the pitch. That's what we do. But what the owners have done, they've set a team around them that are doing things like this to increase revenue so that we can improve what's going on the pitch as well. This isn't just for the men's team as well. This is also for the women's team as well. They've employed Hope Powell as the football director for the women's team.
They've done really well, haven't they, the women?
Yeah. Well, they didn't get promoted from the women's championship.
But from the way they started, it was actually a semi-successful season in the context. I think they got off to a slow start, but they actually really picked up as the season went on.
I think the owners are going to expect promotion next season from them. I really do. They're going to invest as well into all sorts of other areas of the club as well. So it's really exciting. So I think most Blues fans would agree that the first point and the first thing to be excited about is the overhaul of the squad.
That's the kind of the on the pitch spoken about in terms of there's going to be a massive overhaul on the pitch. Lots of players going, lots of players coming in. Wagner did say there's some money to spend. So it should be a very exciting time this summer to be a Birmingham City supporter. And if anything, it's going to feed us with a lot of content because I'm sure we're going to be in this studio talking about transfer rumours, talking about player profiles, who we brought in, who we've sold, all these different sorts of things.
Yeah.
But for me as well, just bigger picture here outside of the football pitch, because, Cook and Wagner, when they're talking, they don't just talk about those 90 minutes that those 22 blokes are kicking the ball about. They talk about when you put that key in your car, when you leave your house, the match day experience. Yep. And to me, that's really powerful because where we're located, it's not the greatest location. It's okay for transport links in terms of it's not too far outside the city centre, but, there's all sorts of stuff with cars outside the game. It's not a safest of places in Birmingham, let's just say. And then, you get there and there's sort of food stalls outside, but you go inside and the beer's rubbish, the food's rubbish. But that looks like that's going to be on the mend. We've just got a new catering supplier, which is going to start next season.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
Hopefully that'll give us some better beer, Dad, because me and you have spoken, haven't we, about getting the train a couple of times next season instead of driving in, take the stress away from the drive-in, go and have a couple of beers. Because if we're served high-quality beer, me and you'll drink it. It'd be great. It'd be great to have an actual game with a drinkable beer. It's not too much to ask for, really, is it?
But, no, you're paying enough for it.
£6.
That's interesting as well. Obviously, the amount of money they've already spent on the ground is quite staggering.
New seats in the paddock or the family stand.
They've done loads, haven't they? They put the digital screens up outside. The external of the stadium looks brilliant, and they're going to spend a lot more in this summer as well. So that's something to get excited about as well. They're trying to look and improve the fan experience. So they're talking about, or they've already put plans in to create an amphitheatre fan zone in the Cop car park, and there's another fan zone going on the other side of the corner of the Tilton and main stand by the Royal George. That's being built as well. They're building a brand new bar in from one end of the Cop to the other. They're excavating all the spoil, and that'll be running from one end to the other. There's a new TV studio. They're upgrading the executive boxes in the Gilmerick and other areas of the ground. So they're spending an awful lot of money on a ground that they know they're going to demolish in a few years.
Don't get me wrong, that all sounds fantastic. I just want a hot water and beer. I'll be happy if I can go for a slash and wash my hands with some water and drink some nice beer. I'll be happy with that.
Make sure you get the right way around.
But what you've just said sounds amazing. That really is. That shows to me that they're invested in the club. Because why would you do all that when you've got your eyes on the prize in 5 years' time, moving to a whole new stadium? You could just say, we'll sit here, we'll get through the 5 years and we'll move. But they're not saying that. They're saying we're going to improve the matchday experience for you fans right now, coming into the start of, I'm going to guess, the 24-25 season.
Yeah, the fact that they're investing millions into the current stadium shows you what they want for this club. There's also talk about they're doing something to the club shop as well. They're reorientating the entrance so that it's actually on the Cop car park. And you might think to yourself, well, as a Birmingham City supporter, as someone who goes to watch the games, what do I care about the club shop or the fan zones or the executive boxes? But it shows you that, firstly, one day we may use them, potentially, but secondly, it shows you the vision and the commitment that these new owners are putting into the club as well. So that's got to give us encouragement. So I think that's really exciting as well.
The new shop plan looks amazing. So basically, when you come around the Cop, you've got the Happy Abode and you go up the hill.
Yeah.
And then you can see the corner of the Tilton with the corner shop on the side. They're basically going to knock all that out and have like a big circular walkway, which, again, I'm sure this is all pie in the sky at the moment, no concrete plans, but from what I've seen as concept art, it looks incredible for that new club shop.
Well, the Happy Abode is going to be renamed as True Blue or something like that as well. So there's loads going on there.
Small Heath Alliance pub.
And one thing that really excited me, because I think if you're going to come into a club with a vision like this, right, you've got to look at the club from the bottom upwards, right, and cover absolutely everything. One thing I found really exciting as a football fan about what they're doing as well, they're focusing on youth development as well.
It's one of my big points as well.
And it's absolutely amazing. You know, they're I don't know if anybody saw the video a couple of weeks ago on the Birmingham City YouTube channel. We'll leave a link actually below in our video, so have a look at that from Mike Rigg. He's the new academic technical director. He came from Man City, Burnley. He's worked for the FA, and his job is to manage and promote the youth, basically finding young players and developing at all levels through the club. And what they're going to be doing is working to get the club to a Category 1 status. And there's only 22 clubs in the country with a Category 1 status. And if we can get to that Category 1 status, it means that we can then compete for the best players because we'll be Cat 1. So the vision is almost like for the best.
Yeah.
And the fact that they put that infrastructure in place, you remember Blues fans, under our old owners, they downgraded the academy. Mm-hmm. They downgraded it. I mean, if you really want to progress your club, part of the lifeblood of your club and financially is bringing the young players through.
Yeah. You have all sorts of incentives under FFP with homegrown talent. You know, I can't remember what exactly. Do you get a 5% allowance if you sell an English player, a homegrown player on?
I've got no idea.
You get all sorts of incentives with FFP. It's good for the country's football. It's good for grassroots football. You know, to look at Birmingham City, a big city, as a possible place to go and play academy football. And I've played at Wastills a few times. I remember I used to play there with my school team, and it was an incredible facility. And I was at the new one a couple of months back with Miyoshi, and again, really, the Wasps, the new one in Henley and Arden,
yeah.
Really state-of-the-art, incredible stuff. And they've even invested to make the pitch exactly the same as St.Andrews at Knighthead Park. The grass and the levelling is exactly the same at the training grounds as it would be at the home games. How amazing is that? I think one's done and another one's in progress. That was really good. And you know, Dad, we've spoken before. We've even released a video last week about Jude Bellingham, about the importance of homegrown talent, about what it means to this city to have young boys and girls, you know, grow up in the Blues Academy. And, you know, you watched me many times on a weekend, Dad, you know, in the pouring rain, English cold weather. But it's a proud moment, isn't it, to see your child playing this sport, the sport that we love. So if we can encourage that homegrown talent and for Birmingham City to become a beacon of the youth academy in the West Midlands, if not England, I think that's a brilliant thing for our club, isn't it?
I think that's so important. And I think that, you know, I think that is something to get excited about because 100%. It shows that these owners are trying to develop the club from the bottom, like I mentioned earlier, all the way through. They're not just focused on certain things. They've looked at the whole picture. It really is exciting as well. Also as well, and we've got to, I don't know how many minutes into this video, and we haven't yet even mentioned the wheel site or the new stadium. And so that tells us, before we get to that, and we will briefly discuss and remind ourselves about that in just a second, it shows us that as a Birmingham City supporter, what we've already spoken about is enough to get excited about as it is.
Well, especially contextually with what we've been used to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of Blues fans would say, well, you know, how is this going to translate to a better team on the pitch? Because that's really what we do care about as supporters, isn't it? We want to go and watch a winning team, don't we? You know, we don't want to go and watch teams like we've been used to, just losing games and stuff like that. But everything that we've spoken about in terms of the youth development and the plan that the club have got and the investment in the squad are all going to, and the increase in revenues, is all going to help us to attract better players, spend more money where we can, and also develop our youth. So it's all going to eventually result in a much better product, as Tom Wagner would say. He calls it a product that fans will want to go and watch on the pitch. So it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the fundamentals to the club. Yeah. If you get the club shop right, if you get the hospitality at the stadium right, you get the youth system right, you get all this infrastructure right, it's just ingredients into the pot, isn't it? And it all adds up to a more valuable, more prosperous, more successful football club. I think when you have all those elements involved, it's not just a winning team. Don't get me wrong, that helps, and I would love for us to win more games on the pitch.
That will come.
But there's more exactly. And when you put those ingredients in the pot, eventually results on the pitch will come.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing Birmingham City, you know, with the buy that we had in the summer, you know, Cody Drama said he joined us on loan because of the project. Stansfield said he chose us over Sunderland because of the project. So it's already out there, and the players are aware. I saw an interview recently on the Blues channel, I think it was Ethan Laird, and he was joking about they always check their phones or they're checking social media, and they have a laugh about the term the project with Blues. So it's known, we're known now. You know, it's and I think I said this on a previous video, whether we like it or not, Birmingham City is now in the big picture. We are a player. We have a seat at the table. The new owners have allowed us to do that. You know, let's not deny, when it was announced that we bought the wheel site, our famous friends down the road were absolutely losing their mind, weren't they? And that's what I'm talking about. All these little things, all these decisions that they're making, all these purchases that they're doing, all this infrastructure they're putting in place, it's making us, in my opinion, a bigger, better, stronger club moving forward. And a key point, the results will come eventually.
They will come. And of course, you know, the big picture is that they've already purchased the wheel site. It's not we want to buy this in the future. That site is now purchased, and they've got plans to build a multi-purpose stadium on that site as well. So that should get us excited as well. So for all the doom and gloom that we've got currently in terms of the way we've been playing over recent years, it might not seem like it right now, today, when you look at where we are as a club in terms of in the league and on the pitch, but things are about to change. There is a new dawn. You know, Birmingham City is going to turn a corner, and there's a lot. And I think I watched a video from somebody else. I can't remember who it was. It's basically said the other clubs don't know what's coming. They've got no idea because they don't understand our club. They don't hear everything that we do. They don't know what's coming, and we have got a massive future, in my opinion, based upon these owners. And even if that means that, you know, that they've got to rebuild and it might take a couple of years to get the type of squad that we want, we know that the infrastructure is there to accommodate that. And also the finances are going to be well looked after as well.
Yeah.
So to me, you know, I can be disappointed and sad about the way we perform on the pitch, but I can't help but think of what a bright future we got. Here's one scenario for you, Matt, as well. Imagine now, if you imagine a situation where we haven't got these new owners, we're still under Birmingham Sports Holdings Limited.
The irony is we might survive. We probably would have survived.
Maybe, but
well,
okay. Here's a question then to you. Then, what would you do? Would you rather still with BSHL and stay in the Championship, or in worst case scenario, get relegated and go to League One with the new owners?
I would much rather have Tom Wagner at the wheel. 100%. The way everything's been dealt with, again,
it's a bit of a stupid question, really, isn't it? Because every Blues fan is going to say, well, you know, if we got these owners, I'd rather, you know, if we had to, I'd rather be in League One with these owners than BSHL.
No,
because if we had got BSHL and we had got relegated to League One, you'd be wondering, well, what happens next?
If we get relegated to League One with the new owners, we're immediately looking up. When are we getting promoted? If we would have got relegated with BHS, I'd have been looking down to League Two, thinking, how far down are we going to drop?
Like most Blues fans.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas at least with Wagner and Knighthead, we know we've got money to spend. He's told us he's not going anywhere. And I think he will put the infrastructure in place for next season, if the worst happened, for us to come straight back up, hopefully. Let's see what happens. But for me, I love the new owners. I really do. I think they've done great things off the pitch. Ignoring that one decision which we mentioned at the start, I'm not going to focus on that. I think Knighthead have been great. We're in safe hands, and I have no doubt that this club has got an incredibly bright future ahead.
Absolutely. And I think we need to remember that, Blues fans, don't we? You know, we can obviously be disappointed and downhearted. And I think as well, as Birmingham City supporters, you may or may not agree with this, but we're almost expecting the worst all the time, because we always get kicked in the teeth, don't we, when elsewhere that people might describe, but when things happen and go against us. And that's almost ingrained into us over so many years of disappointments and letdowns. And it's hard for us to really believe that actually this is really happening to our club. And this summer is going to be a complete refresh. So when this season is completely finished, which it nearly is, we can all then look forward to a much brighter future. And I think it's really worth us understanding that, really, that as dull and as dim as the recent history has actually been, there is a much, much better future ahead of us, and I think we need to all get really, really excited about that. So hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope we've sort of made you enthusiastic about what's going to happen in the future. If you did like this video, as always, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to check us out on our social media channels, and you'll see the handles come up on the screen right now for our X account and for our Instagram account. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you press that subscribe button. If you've got any comments as well, please leave us one below. We always love reading your comments and seeing what your views are in relation to what you think of the future of the club. Pop a comment below, and me and Matt will always have a look, and we will respond. And we'll see you on the next video.